Here's a brief introduction to the false chords and what they are. Now, if you're watching this video and you haven't done so yet, make sure you go and warm up, watch some of our warm-up videos, and make sure you're prepping yourself for what we're about to be doing. Before any kind of vocal work, you never want to get started without having warmed up first. This is part of what you can do to make sure that you avoid injury and make sure that you're not accidentally hurting yourself in trying to do these types of vocals. Now, what are the false chords? We're going to get into a little bit of anatomy here, and I'll demonstrate on myself here. This that you can see moving around is called the larynx. Within the larynx, you'll find the vocal cords smack in the middle, situated on the right and left hand sides. And they're these tiny little membranes that just vibrate together when we implement energy into the area and create air pressure, and this is how we make sound. That's what I'm doing now, just speaking to you. Above this structure are two larger membranes, bigger mucous membranes above the vocal cords that can also move around with proper training and with proper care, and these are called the false chords. These are also located within the larynx itself, but above. You can see right here the part that's poking out. This is commonly called the Adam's apple. They're right behind that structure. Say this here, my hand is the larynx. They're right inside of here at the top. Now, these serve a couple of different functions. They help in terms of making sure when you're swimming you don't accidentally inhale water, and they help to make sure that you aren't accidentally inhaling your food when you're eating and it's going down the right pipe. Now, we can make sound with these structures as well. When we're speaking or when we're just making sound in general, the false chords aren't really doing anything to help with sound, but because they're mucous membranes, like I said, that is helping to coat everything and make sure that there's flexibility and sound production as possible in general. But there isn't really much movement happening unless we can activate it. Now, if we can do that, then things start to get interesting. We start to play with distortion in this way. I'm going to isolate what the false chords sound like by themselves now. If you want to try this out at home, what you want to do is cover your ears entirely with your hands and then breathe in and out silently. Make sure there's nothing blocking your airflow. Make sure you're not breathing through your teeth or just through your nose, but fully and open through all channels. Once you get that silent, then breathe like you have a heavy cold, and you'll get something kind of like this. You start to hear that deeper rumbling. I'll do it again, and I'm going to start to intensify and isolate the sound even further. It's intensifying. Now you get some of that deeper rumble even more so. This is the false chords moving by themselves. You'll notice it's not a very full sound. You can hear a lot of that flapping motion going on. You can hear it's kind of a wet sound. Again, these are mucous membranes, so that's what that's going to sound like when they move together. What's missing is actual vocal cord movement. That's how we get to the false chord sound. But important note, you want to understand what the false chords actually are, where they're located, and what they actually sound like by themselves. It's not requiring every ounce of strength I have to muster up this movement. It's more so trying to trick the body into getting these to move a little bit. And over time, and with practice, you'll be able to activate this area of your body just like you know how to do anything else, with the same kind of mental ease of wiggle your finger. You don't have to think about it, you just know how. You'll develop that type of awareness of this area of the body. Now, other ways to get this area activated take having an understanding of not just our own anatomy, but the anatomy of other creatures. Other mammals also have a voice box similar to ours. You can think of this like anything that makes sound. I like to use dogs as a reference, predominantly. Other animals are able to make bigger, fuller sound, but it comes out in a different way from ours. And I'll be getting into more detail with this moving forward, but think about how sound is structured with other things and that type of explosive, bigger, more distorted sound that other creatures can make that we typically don't, but we can emulate. That's the name of the game here, and as we move forward with how to create the false chord scream itself, I'll be getting into details of how to actually generate this type of distortion and overtone work to turn this into this.